Alrighty guys, welcome back. So last week it was brutally hot out. So instead of working on the sawmill shed, I decided to come up here on the hill and do some brush clearing instead. And that is actually a very cool job to do because I could do all the work, or very near all the work, from inside the air-conditioned cab of the track loader. Now, the last day that we were out here was Friday evening, and it is now Wednesday afternoon. And guys, the burn pile is still smoking. We even had rain for the last 2 days, and you can still feel the heat coming off from this thing, and you can see a little bit of smoke rising off from it. I figured it would have been completely dead and burned out, but it is still smoldering a little bit up here. However, this is not what we're actually going to be working on this week. It's about 10 or 15 degrees cooler than it was last week. It's back down in like the low 80s, upper 70s, so much more conducive to working outside in the sun. All right, we have 2/3 of the front done, and that's all we're gonna get done today because somebody forgot to bring more nails with them. So I do have a couple other little projects that we can work on around here today. Got some logs to kind of shuffle around here. I got a new battery for the Massey Ferguson tractor. We can put that in there, and a couple other little things. So we'll work on those. Alright, so I thought I was going to put this new replacement hose on the Intimidator. We got this the beginning of this week, but it's a little bit different than the old hose, and I can't quite get it to fit in there. So the problem is that on the old hose, you just had a short little connector down here and then it went straight to rubber. This one, it's got this longer section of the metal in here, so I'm not able to get it squared up over top of where it screws in because this back part kind of comes in a little bit, and so because that's stiff so far up, I can't get it over top of where it screws in. And for our final little project for today is we need to add a little bit of hydraulic fluid to the loader. When that one hose went out on the Intimidator, we lost a decent amount when that went, so we gotta top this back off. So it is now Friday. Yesterday I spent the day running a few little errands, like picking up more nails so that we can get the rest of the fascia boards on. I also stopped by the metal roofing supplier where I'll be getting my roof for the saw shed from. And so I've got an order kind of in place with them. It's ready to go. All I have to do is just call them up, give them the word and say go ahead and put that through, and they'll put the order. Actually, all I need to do is call them up and give them my credit card information and then they'll put it through, and so that'll be ready whenever I'm ready for that. So today I'm going to try and get the rest of this fascia done. Alright, so now that we've got that done, we got all the fascia boards on there. We also got the hose once again back from the repair place, and it's got a different end on it this time that's got a little bit less metal on it. It's a little bit shorter that way. So we're gonna give this another go, see if we can't get it on again. Alright, so the Intimidator is put back together. We got a new hose on there. Hopefully this will keep us going for a little while with these new hoses on there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to work on cutting some of these logs to length. And so the next step, kind of the large step that we need to do for the sawmill shed, is to do some more milling. Now these next boards that we're going to mill are what are going to go on top of the rafters, and this is going to be the layer in between the rafters and the metal roof. Now typically this would be done with 4x8 sheets of like plywood or OSB or something of that nature, but seeing as we have the mill, we're just going to go ahead and use boards for that instead. Now using like a 4x8 sheet of something does add a good bit of rigidity to the structure, so you know, we're kind of doing a trade-off here. We're saving a little bit of money by milling it ourselves, but we lose some of that rigidity that we might have gotten from the 4x8 sheet. But hey, you know, we can always just add in some more corner bracing, and I think it would be just as good as if it had those large sheets in there instead. So what we're going to do next is we've already got the logs over here ready to go. I don't know if this is going to be enough to do this part of it or not, but what we're going to do is we're going to get in here, we're going to work on cutting some of these to length so that they're ready to go, and just throw them right on the mill and they'll be ready to be turned into boards. Well, I was thinking we'd call it a day after getting these things cut up, but you know, we've still got a little bit of time left, so I'm thinking let's throw one of these on the mill and see if we can't get a little bit of lumber cut this evening before we wrap it up. Alright, we got a new band in there. The previous band was pretty old. It was getting pretty dull, so it wasn't exactly surprising that the thing broke on me. But it happens. Wasn't that big of a deal. I'd already gotten a good bit of life out of that one. So let's get these last few boards cut out of this can. Alright guys, that is going to be it. As you can kind of see behind me, we've got the lumber that we milled this evening all stacked up on the mill, so it's keeping it nice and flat. We'll have to find a different place to stack it as we get more of this, because we have a lot more of this to mill up yet. But for now, it's just fine right there. So that's going to be it for this week. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.